Welcome back, guys, to the Bravo stream. We're looking at our last match of the night, and it's an LCQ match, which I'm excited for because we're closing down on the LCQ now, Jesse. With playoffs starting up in the groups, these are going to be our last few matches inside the LCQ while these teams funnel on into their own playoff groups. And this is going to be a good one, Jesse, because we're looking at the Western Division still, and we both know that that Western Division, it's a crazy one.
The Western Division is just pure chaos, right? Plain and simple as that. And yeah, like you said, this is going to be the last LCQ match on stream. Obviously, we'll probably still have a few more matches finishing off stream, but for the last slot of the night here. Oh, wait, what am I saying? Last match on stream? Probably have a couple tomorrow as well. So I might be blasted for that one. But nonetheless, we're going to be in for the last match of the LCQ on stream tonight on the Bravo stream. So we'll be in for a good one, I'm sure.
Big save. Thank you. Right there.
Thank you.
But we're looking at this last match, Jesse, for the LCQ. As we're saying, we're looking over in the western side of things. Let's introduce these two teams and look at the head-to-head because we got the CSULB Sharks going up against the Oregon Ducks. And Jesse, as you and I both know, we saw CSULB go back on stream last week against Bethany Swedes in their second match inside of their LCQ, and that match has brought them into this one here. So talk to me a little bit. What are we looking at between these two teams?
Well, I mean, you can see there's a very wide discrepancy between these two teams. Oregon on the season is 17-4, only 4 losses on the year. And then you look at the side of CSULB, 10-10. And let's not forget, both these teams were Western Tier 2 teams, but just University of Oregon is just one step ahead of the CSULB team. And I think it just goes to show as well, earlier in the season when these two teams actually matched up against each other, and it was an Oregon 3-0. It was a stomping. CSULB really wasn't very close. It was a 250-122 on map 1, 6-1 map 2, 3-0 map 3. It was not very close. And honestly, right now, if you're CSULB coming into this match, you are just coming into this one trying to fight for your playoff life at the moment, and you need to just put up a better fight than you did in that first match.
Well, it's not their first rodeo, Jesse, against each other, like you said, but for one of these two teams, it's going to be their last rodeo in the CCL for the 2022 season. So let's go take a look at both of these teams, introducing the home team first. It's the Oregon Ducks, and representing them, we got Amaze, Zip, Tavin, and Law, Jesse.
And Law, formerly Daddy Skillful. If you don't notice the name change, he changed it a few weeks ago. Now coming in as Law, and what a great name to come win with. But Oregon, I mean, I don't really know what more to say. This team has been great all season long. Zip, a very, very aggressive submachine gun player. Tavin almost always popping off for this roster. And then probably the X factor for the team is Law. He definitely always comes in, always is ready to show up. And when he's really popping off in a lot of their games, that's when you see Oregon playing at their best.
You know, Law, he's just one of those guys. He's got that can-do attitude, and it has really brought me to be a fan of this team, Jesse. I know you and I have seen them on stream quite a few times, and, you know, casting them. You know, this is a team that, in my eyes, can rival top 25 teams when they're at their best. So this is not going to be an easy one for CSULB by all means, but to introduce CSULB, the Sharks roster on the away side, we're looking at Prism Hunter, V-Flow, Twonky, and CDC Chris.
And CSULB, they honestly, like we said coming into this one, 10-10 record, wasn't the prettiest, wasn't the worst, but they had a very good week last week inside of their matches. They went up against Bethany College. They were able to come away with the 3-1 victory. They took all 3 respawns inside of that. Their search and destroy probably their worst mode. So if they want to compete today with Oregon, it's definitely going to need to be in the respawns.
Oh, 100% it's going to have to be into the respawns, Jesse. But enough chit-chat about these two teams. We're looking at the maps in the series now because the players are ready to go. And
they're right into it.
To our map number 1. We don't even get to talk about the series, Jesse. We get to go right into this Berlin hardpoint as it's already into the action with CSULB actually coming away with the early kills in that P1, Jesse, and the early time is looking at the Ducks now for the rebreak. All grouped up outside of this. Maze looking to lead the charge, but it's going to be a tough one to break as the setup's already here for the Sharks. It's going to be a Maze on the backside. It's kills coming the way of the Sharks, but a split kill feed 2 for 2 on the inside. You're going to need a Maze to go big now in a 1v1 versus Twonky, but with 9 HP, it doesn't look like Twonky wants to take this fight.
Yeah, Twonky with 9 HP just decides, hey, you know what, I'm going to back up, not take this fight, and Zip is actually spotted. Did he not spot a single one of those players on that cross? Okay, he did spot them a little bit, not able to find the kills. So Oregon going to lose out on the rotations, and CSULB in a fantastic spot now to string some good time from P1 into good time over at P2. And this is a fantastic break. 3 players up. They find all 4 kills on the Oregon Ducks, and now Oregon looking to find some stability here inside of this map.
3 players up for the Sharks, 3 players down for the Ducks. And look at this positioning from Prism Hunter off the respawn. Sets up in P5, looking to cut off the rotations from the respawning Ducks roster. And so far, it has been a fantastic beginning to this Berlin, Jesse. 52-17. Finally, the Ducks in a position for this break. They're going to find 2 kills on the way in, get inside the hill. But you got to get rid of Twonky. He's on 2 in a row here, looking to make it 3, but overwhelmed by Ducks players. We got the break for scrap time.
Absolutely. It's a good scrap time break there for Oregon, but CSULB once again will be the first team early on rotation over towards this new hill. And Oregon, they're going to try to break this one from the front as well, but spawns, they should still be good for CSULB, and they are. So Oregon, the break, it's going to need to be from the front.
Already losing on your front. You got life disadvantage. V-Flow's going to cut down a second before going down, and that's going to allow the rest of the Sharks to peek on through, shut down the rest of the Ducks, Jesse. And look at the respawns coming in, and look at player number 8, V-Flow. He gets a split spawn as well, so he's in behind the Ducks, and this is going to be a dangerous time because even though you're picking away at these players, V-Flow's going to come swinging around the back, close things out, and the Sharks still flawless in this rotation. Tavin's going to be taken down by Prism Hunter, and this is nothing but perfect. 83 and counting. You still have 30 seconds left, and if you're Oregon, I mean, do you even hit this?
Dude, this is the Sharks hardpoint team. That's 15 and 14 in terms of hardpoint coming into this one. Going up against a 21 and 5 hardpoint team in the Oregon Ducks. And they have come out hot to start this match off. The Sharks are hunting the Ducks at the moment. 105. It's going to be 110 at the end of the hill to 39 for the Ducks. I mean, just a crazy, crazy start here. And they've actually already got V-Flow in the back trying to break these spawns. Will end up falling, but they do pull spawns towards the top side of the map at the very least.
Jesse might not be on top for the record in the series, but when it comes to the food chain, you know the Sharks are above Ducks all day long. And Berlin right now, it's open waters. Sharks surrounding this P4. You got 3 players on the inside of the hill for Oregon, and they need to go big with these kills. You got Law laying down Zipped for the Overwatch, and so far, they have shut down every ounce of an attack coming out from CSULB. As you're looking at these respawns all the way over to the B site for Search and Destroy, as they're going to have to traverse from the top side down just to touch this, and that is wide open space to be picked off by these setup Oregon players.
That's a big answer back from Oregon as well, because not only are you getting a good amount of time here on this hill, but you've also flipped these spawns out. So CSU will be now spawning up on the right side, on the unfavored side, and you're still getting the remaining little bit of time here. So it'll be around a 30-point game at the end of this hill. But Oregon, this spot that they're in right now, in a great spot to not only pin CSULB in the back of the spawn still, but also get the good transition over back towards B1.
Jesse, this is not going to be an easy one for the Sharks, like we said. And finally, it looks like Oregon has woken up. What was a 70-point game now, only a 30-point one. You get a big 3 down if you're CSULB, so stabilizing that dominance once more into the last hill for this first rotation. But here comes Oregon on knocking. Tavin's going to find 2. The collapse going to be inbound. Law a 3rd. Flawless for the break. Out goes CSULB. In comes Oregon. Unless V-Flow has anything to say about it, he's going to fly on through, but it's going to amount to nothing as 3 more go down.
Great break, and if they hold on to the remainder of this time, we'll be at what, basically a 20-point game at the end of this first set of rotations, which being down 70 at one point, feel like you'll take that every day of the week if you're the Oregon Ducks. But you will lose a few players from inside the hill, so it will end up being around a 40-point lead actually at the end of the first set of rotations. So much better. And CSULB actually find a few kills on rotation as well. Might just be able to flip these spawns up. It's going to be up to Zip to find a few kills here.
It finds 1. Big kill coming out here. V-Flow exits, and Prism Hunter's going to find the kill. So huge team play coming out from the Sharks on the rotation. And Jesse, a little bit of deja vu for the positioning because Oregon Ducks now having to fight from the less preferred side. Last time was near flawless for the Sharks on the inside of here. Amaze is going to go big to break this one early. Zip to follow up. Twonky's the only one on the inside. Has the backup from Prism Hunter. But how good is it? They're going to find 2 together. Hold on to this hill from the more preferred side and completely shut the Ducks out once more. With 30 seconds here, you're looking to get back into this in no time, but a mistake from Law on the backside. Zip's going to have to go big with Amaze on the inside, and it's so far so good. We're going to find 2 for the break. Big one-on-one here for Zip, and it's going to go his way. So the last 17 seconds, even with a blunder from Law, going to go the way of Ducks.
Yeah, the big SMG player in Zip, able to hold things down at the very end of that hill. Will actually end up falling. So it's going to be a 60-point lead now for CSULB, just continuing to grow that lead bigger and bigger. After it did eventually wind down a little bit, they basically built it back up to what the maximum lead was at one point in this game. And the rotation over to P2, it is flawless as well. As they are here, they are gaining even more time. And a very uncharacteristic bad first hardpoint here from the Oregon Ducks.
Very uncharacteristic at all, but you have to give credit where credit's due, Jesse. The Sharks have looked fantastic to open up this series so far. It's like they leveled up going into the last map for LCQ. I mean, this is what you expect. You got playoffs right around the corner. You need to win this series, and it seems like they know that. So they're coming out to battle. They're coming out with their teeth sharpened. And with a 70-point lead going into this third hard point, you're looking at the Ducks and a chance to close off and shave this lead down.
And you can see the Ducks know right now what needs to happen. And they have sent the full 3-man with 20 seconds left on this hill back over towards P3, because they know if they don't get a full 60 here on this hole, or on this hill, they're going to be in a spot where if they lose out on more time, they'll probably end up losing this game very quickly. So this needs to be a perfect holding for the Oregon Ducks.
Chris has been picking them apart in the setup, but the Ducks have to respawn. They stabilize Jesse with a flurry of kills going their way, but every single time I see the setup happen here for CSULB, it's like hearing the Jaws music in the back of my head. So here they go, set up once more, and down they go as Tavin's going to line up too, and Amaze is going to spike down flow for a clean 4 down, Jesse. And look at these green arrows surge on forward as they know the map is under their control. They can start to take these kills on the front line, but you have to be careful not to get too antsy, because it looks like CSULB want to take another shot at this, and they do realize that. They pivot back, they take them down, and Twonky is going to be the closest one to pick this one apart, but he's going to be cleaned up immediately, and the Ducks have battled their way back.
Oregon flying forward in that spot was basically just trying to spawn CSULB in behind them so they could try to get the flawless rotation over towards this new hill, over towards the train yard. But, I mean, even without doing so, they've actually found a good timing towards trying to break open and getting into this. But unfortunately for Amaze, all of his teammates around him fall. And it was looking like it could be a good opportunity, but they lose out on all the gunfights. And now CSULB within a shot of winning this game here.
Off from the top ropes, gonna assist Zip to take down Flow. It's tough to break from the front. The Ducks, their break on P4 was immediate. The first set of rotations looking to get set up soon. Here come the nades. Law picks up first Monter. He's going to find a second, too. Chris looking to go down, but he's going to win the fight on Amaze. A big one indeed. Down low. Zip looking to clean him up, but it's not going to happen. 3 go down. A one-on-one here for Law, but the backup's already here for CSULB as they're going to pick apart the last remaining players. Nobody in the hill. 20 seconds. The Sharks at 218 with 162 under the belts of Ducks. They are going to need a big comeback, Jesse, and they cannot afford any more mistakes.
Chris went absolutely massive inside of that hill there for CSULB, and still going massive inside of the hill.
Oh, man.
Pops another 2-piece, gets the scrap time, makes Oregon in an even worse spot than what they were in before. All you need is 23 seconds. You can close this game out if you're CSULB, and it looks like they want to try to do so on a very, very scrappy P5 hill. Oregon, right now, you need to not only stop them from winning on this hill, but win the rotation back over to P1, where CSULB has dominated you all game.
And you and I both know, Jesse, that is not going to be an easy feat to accomplish. Inside the hill, the Sharks looking to close it here on P4. Zip on the rotation, trying to look to get on in. It's not going to work his way, but Law's going to come out with a big 2. Tavin around the backside looking to close this one out. Shaky shots on Twonky. It's going to be 8 seconds now for the Sharks to put away map number 1, Jesse. And as the time is ticking down, you're looking at desperate measures for Ducks to get through this side of the map, but they're not going to be able to find the kills. And the Sharks with a big way to start off this series, winning the Berlin hardpoint 250 to 171.
Let's not get anything wrong here. This is a upset and a half of a map number 1. I'm sitting here this entire map and just waiting for Oregon to come alive and waiting for Oregon to come alive. And they just never came alive inside of that map. What a wonderful map 1 for CSULB. And that was a absolutely insane map 1 for these guys. I mean, they came out, they established that they were going to be playing them as tough as possible right from the get-go, right from that P1. And honestly, I think they caught Oregon sleeping.
I couldn't agree more, Jesse. You know, Oregon, they had a moment where it looked like they woke up a little bit on the map, but I mean, CSULB, they just kept on punching and punching and making sure that the Ducks were knocked out inside that Berlin. And you got to give credit to CDC Chris. When we talk about a Berlin, oftentimes, Jesse, we do highlight AR players on stepping up to find key kills, not just on the rotation, but in the setups that are had for these numerous hardpoints. And Chris, he was constantly popping off two pieces left, right, and center in this map, allowing for safe rotations of the Sharks and making sure that the Ducks were never really at an advantage for these hills.
And Chris was fantastic last week in the victory as well. Let's not get that twisted. I know I said that's an upset, but you can't look at the two records from these two teams and tell me that that wasn't an upset to come through for CSUB to come out and win that hard point. I mean, that was a 21-5 hard point team going up against a 15-14 hardpoint team, and that's just the 15-14 team coming out and just simply playing better inside of map 1 to get the job done, and a very well job done indeed for the CSULB Sharks. I don't want to leave anybody undercredited, but I really did not think that they were going to come out and win that map number 1. So color me surprised, a fantastic map 1 for them, but now comes the hard part for the CSULB Sharks, and I don't want to keep pinning this story against them, but their worst game mode by far is Search and Destroy, and going into S&D against a University of Oregon Ducks team that is very, very good at S&D. It's 15-6 on the season is their S&D record. This is going to be a very, very tough one, I think, to win.
No, but Jesse, you know, when you're going into this, you look at the hard point too was against the Sharks. They managed to get that done. So
for sure.
Right now they're just riding the waves. So, and I know you're trying to say it's like, don't try to pin this against the Sharks for every round, but they're the team coming out from the second round of LCQ.
For sure.
They beat Bethany, and now they're looking to bat up to the Ducks. And so far, I mean, this Sharks roster, they know what's on the line. They know this is their playoff spot in the CCL on the line. The question is, does Oregon really realize that? They're coming into this. It seems like they're a little bit ahead of themselves right now. They leave a room for opportunity to allow the Sharks to take that map number 1. This is when I need to see the Oregon Ducks up and play the game that you and I both know that they can play, because right now it doesn't seem like they realize what's on the line.
Yeah, it really doesn't. If that was a very uncharacteristic map 1 out of the Oregon Ducks. And yeah, I'm right there with you that, you know what, they did win that last map if you're CSULB. I think that hardpoint and control probably are their better modes, though, so that's why I'm like a little bit more skeptical going in towards the Search and Destroy, because my big key to victory for CSUB coming into this one was that if they were going to win this matchup against Oregon, it was probably going to be in the 1, 3, and the 4. Search and Destroy, I'm not looking too much forward to. Even last week when we watched them, I believe the one map that they lost, yeah, it was the Search and Destroy to Bethany on Tuscan S&D. So it's definitely not their strongest mode. Hopefully they can bounce back a little bit better here this week inside of the S&D, maybe show up a little bit more prowess. But we're going to a Desert Siege map. Now, I'm not 100% on who picked this map coming through, but me and you talk about this all the time, but Desert Siege, if you're picking that map to come through, very often one of the two teams, whoever picked it, is very comfortable on this map. So hopefully it's CSULB's pick.
And if this is the Sharks coming out and throwing a wrench in the operation of Oregon right now, Jesse, I mean, this is so clever to go to a Desert Siege. Not a lot of teams are used to this map. That's why it's usually the closer map and a map number 5. So this is a good opportunity that if this is the Sharks map pick going into the map 2, this is them looking to throw Oregon off their game. But like you said, Oregon, a strong Search and Destroy team. I'm looking at them to slow it down in a Desert Siege. It's a wide open map. You know you want middle university control, but it's a really good opportunity to slow the pacing, collect yourselves after a tough loss in map number 1, and start to get some victory under your belt.
Absolutely. You definitely need to try to find some momentum here if you're the Oregon Ducks. You are on the back foot right now, through and through on the back foot. And honestly, if you don't come out and you don't take this map against CSULB, you're giving them a very good chance of winning this series because of how much they just dominated you inside of that map number 1. Don't get it twisted. They were the better team inside of that map number 1. There was no luck to it. They just simply outplayed the Oregon Ducks there. But nonetheless, off the start of this game, Prison Hunter will be the player carrying the bomb on CSULB. That's a very, very slow offense to start off this Desert Siege.
Viewers, keep your eye on the minimap. You look at player number 5 versus player 2 inside of University. A maze for Ducks in this situation. He was constantly the one to keep pressure on for the likes of Oregon inside that map number 1, and it does it again to open this one up. A big first blood onto Twonky that immediately halts the Sharks. Now they're fishing, Jesse, for an answer back just to get a little bit of map control.
Yeah, map control on this map is so important. I know that sounds funny because it's very important on
man.
every map. But on a map like this, as soon as you lose that first blood and you don't have map control, this is when Oregon's just going to fly forward and try to pin you in the back of the spawn. CTC Chris will at least get one back in the favor of CSULB. Now it kind of opens up a little bit of an avenue where you can try to move this bomb over towards A and try to work this bomb down.
And Zip with the sniper is already rotated back to plug the hole that has been left to open from Tavin going down, and it's forced off, but you can see the Ducks, they've already rotated Jesse for the group up. Chris is going to get his head rung by Zip, and now it's going to leave Prism Hunter last alive. Bomb goes down, but he is caught in open waters, and the Ducks are going to surround him and take him down.
Not something you see very often. 3 Ducks hunting down a shark, finding the last kill there, and able to close the round out if you're Oregon, exactly how you needed to start the map off after a very, very rough map number 1. And it's exactly what they need to do if they want to be able to beat this CSULB team. You need to get the job done here inside of S&D. Bring yourself back into the series. They found first blood, and they just didn't make any mistakes after that point on.
You know, Jesse, that's not something I thought I'd be comparing on the Bravo stream at, 11 p.m. at night. 4 Ducks versus 4 Sharks. Who's going to win? I mean, right now, it's anybody's game after the Sharks walk away with map number 1, but I mean, the Ducks with the clever answer back in the first round off a big first blood and Amaze. Let's see if he can do it again. Slides on in, finds Prism Hunter. Job well done.
And Amaze was pretty much the only player inside of map number 1 who really popped off for this Oregon team. Bomb going down over at the B site. This should be a fairly textbook hold here, unless Twonky's able to do something about it, and he will find first blood here for CSULB as well.
Shots from Chris were crisp onto Zip, but not able to dethrone that sniper at the back. Tavin's going to get eyes on Twonky. Information going to go there. Slides on in for the kill. Slays him out. It's going to leave Chris last alive with a sniper in his own hand. Goes for the Hail Mary shot down on the Zip. It's a sniper battle right now. Who's going to get the pick? You got to be careful, though, if you're Chris, because, you know, Tavin is somewhere looming on the map, and you got 21 seconds to get to this bomb and defuse it. The only thing is, can you find both kills and get that done, Jesse? And it's just a no. It's tough enough inside of Search and Destroy in a 2v1, but it's even harder when you add Desert Siege into the mix.
Yeah, I was literally about to say, like, a 2v1 is tough, but a 2v1 with bomb down and no map control on Desert Siege, you're pretty much like, you're just a fish in a barrel at that point, waiting to push out towards you are just dead. It's just simple as that. I don't know where I was going with that analogy, but you are just in such a bad spot because map control on this map is absolutely everything. As soon as you lose it, and you saw it in that round number 1 for CSULB on offense, they didn't have the map control. Oregon was able to just pinch on every single player, find all the kills together, and we're able to walk away with it. So we'll see if this first blood battle continues here up inside of Top University. But so far, it's very much so been dominated by Oregon, and Tavin with a beautiful angle finds first blood.
He's window shopping right now, Jesse. But Chris, from afar, spots something he likes as well.
He's online shopping.
You're right. Yes, he is. But that's going to be the equalizer. 3v3. V-Flow now with control of University. But the question is, where do you go from here? Amaze is going to back off the B site, see if he can plug the hole through the middle of the map. But it's going to be a little tussle here. V-Flow gets the better of him. Good timing there. It's going to leave Law now in a 1v3. Bomb going down, Jesse. A lot on the line right now, but it would be a big answer back for the Sharks to catch off Oregon before the damage gets a little bit too far their way. And Law now, look at the situation you're in. If you look at the minimap, you got all 3 players in separate situations. Will find V-Flow. Isolate 2 separate 1v1s now. You got 30 seconds, plenty of time to get this done, but you're going to have to find both kills now. Doesn't spot Prism Hunter right away, and that's going to be Prism Hunter with a free kill onto Law to close out the round.
Yeah, definitely not an easy situation to be in there for Law. Unfortunately, got a really bad timing on the first player. That what they saw as well. Just ended up running to the right as Law was running to the left. Don't end up spotting them out. And if you find that first one, maybe it makes getting the second a little bit easier there, but still your position's given away. And we saw it even in that last round for Oregon when they were on offense. As soon as you get that bomb down there with a number advantage and you're in a 1vx situation, it's just very, very tough to be able to win because everybody is just in and around the same area and able to trade out on a lot of those kills. But now back on offense for Oregon. It's been the first blood machine has been this Oregon Ducks team here so far, but Twonky will get the first blood for CSULB here in this round.
Quick answer back from Tavin. Now look at Zip. He's flying. Prism Hunter's going to go down. He's going to drop a nade before that. It's going to get the trade, but look at Zip is tearing things apart. Jesse, you know the difference between a shark and a duck right now when you're out of open water? is that Ducks can fly, and Sharks, they can't do that whatsoever. So you can see this. We're going to look at the scoreboard, so we don't get to see what happens, but the Ducks, man, they spread their wings, Jesse, and they fly in that round.
We'll get to see it here, and it's Zip again, able to find the final kill onto CTC Chris. And that is when Zip is playing at his best. I don't know if you remember, Colin, earlier on in the season when we got to cast over Zip in this Oregon Ducks team, but
Nasty.
Zip, it was a Berlin search and destroy, and he was just running through every single wall inside of the bottom of mailroom on Berlin and just killing everybody with a submachine gun. When he is unleashed and just running around, that is when Zip is playing at his absolute best here. Pulls up the sniper this round, though, so it will be slowing down quite a bit. Prison Hunter is trying to get a little bit of a sneaky little hop up into the top of University, not able to get it done, and it's another very stagnant first opening couple of minutes here for the CSULB Sharks in this round of offense.
The minimap, player number 4 is right side by side with Amaze. That's V-Flow. If you don't remember, in a couple rounds ago on the offense, the Ducks were able to find the first blood in the same position, but they're going to disengage from the B site. See if they can go over to A, but player number 8 here is going to be Law. He's on an island, able to isolate a 1v1 onto V-Flow, gets the trade on out, and he's at least going to walk away with 1. It's a big thing to walk away with if you're Law.
And Tavin doesn't move up on this either, just tries to keep eyes. But they'll be able to get away with their lives here if you are the CSULB Sharks. And now Tavin, he spots out Chris, can't get the shots down range, but we'll be able to take out Prison Hunter, though. So now it's a 1v3, and it's just Twonky left here to hold on to this round here for the Sharks.
Jesse, Twonky's not going to be able to get anything done because Tavin's going to jump off the top ropes, RKOs him from University. And that's a free defuse if I've ever seen one. Maybe Tavin wasn't able to clean up Chris from a distance, but he was able to set up Amaze to close out on that kill from afar. And in a 1v3, Jesse, it has been the song to sing inside of Desert Siege. It's just not where you want to be inside of this map, especially in a search and destroy. And now the Ducks in a 3-round advantage. You're going to need to see the Sharks step it up, but this is what we were expecting, Jesse, in a search and destroy. Sharks, not their strong suit.
It's definitely not, and Oregon is taking full advantage of that here inside of the search and destroy. Just doing a great job. As soon as they get the advantage, just completely closing out any opportunity for CSULB in a lot of these rounds. And really, it was only the one round that CSULB found the opening blood on offense, got the bomb down, and was in a big man advantage that they were able to close that round out. Outside of that, it's been all Oregon inside of this search and destroy. You can see a couple pre-nades, a couple pre-stuns coming through, just trying to get any information. As soon as Amaze realizes that this B-site is open, the bomb should move up, bomb should go down here, and it very much so will.
It's going to be a bomb plan in a 4v4, Jesse.
Oh, can he get out, though?
It's going to be tough. You got Zip watching over you. The bomb goes down, but V-Flow comes out with a big double kill. Suddenly, the Ducks pressure on out, and V-Flow's got 3 in a row. Can he work for the ace? It's going to be Zip last alive, and look at that mini-map. Right now, the Sharks are hunting for Zip. As you're going to see, Prism Hunter hops the defuse right away. Zip's got a lot of work to do right now. Will shut down V-Flow on this ace, but the defuse is going to come through. There is just no way Zip's going to get an eye on that with the positioning of the rest of the CSULB players. So that's going to be an answer back from the Sharks as they put number 2 on the board.
It's unfortunate. If you're Zip in that situation and you're watching over your bomb planters like that, you need to find the kills with the sniper. Simple as that. If you have that sniper out, you need to be making good use of it, because if you get caught and your teammates end up falling, then you're in a situation in a 1v3 or a 1v2 where you've only got a pistol and a sniper. Not the best spot to be in. But at the very least, if you're Zip, you're on 4 in a row now, still working towards trying to find some of these streaks. And this is an extremely aggressive offense here from the defense from the Oregon Ducks here, pushing up far.
That's what I need to see. I need to see a little bit more confidence, Jesse, from this team. They are going to get a trade through the middle of the map. You see immediately V-Flow collects this bomb, hops top University, but this has been a battle. At CSULB have been losing all game long this time around. C2C Chris is going to catch Law, getting a little bit aggressive towards A. That's going to be the bomb going down, and forward progression here out of the Sharks.
And again, they're just going to put this bomb down over at A and now try to play their numbers out. I think the big thing here for Oregon, though, is you have a very good pinch potential because you have both players on opposite sides of the map at the moment.
Zip trying to fish for some information with the sniper. The slow burn on into the zone. You're going to get eyes onto Chris, the shot in the back, but you lose it on Tavin, so it's going to be Zip versus Twonky in a 1v1, pistol in hand. Twonky's going to go to check the bomb, but Zip gets around, and it's going to be 6 in a row for Zip to take the Ducks to round number 5 as they go on to map point, Jesse.
And if you're CSULB in this map, that is a round that you just cannot afford to lose to the Oregon Ducks.
Not at
Not
all.
when they're already up 4-2, now up 5-2. You're in a 3v2, then it's a 2v1, and it's just Zip alive. Zip finds the trade with the sniper and makes a perfect opportunity, turns it full around with the pistol. I believe you heard the sound cue of the grenade being cooked as well. I heard it as well. And that's how Zip was able to get that information, find that final player middle of the map, get the kill, win the round out if you're Oregon. And now Oregon looking to close this game out. And Zip, I mean, if they don't close the game out here, if he finds one more kill, it will be full streaks in his hands.
Oh, I thought he was about to get it right there, Jesse, but instead it's going to be Tavern on the inside for first blood. The constant battle through University still going the way of Oregon, and that forces Prism Hunter to back up. He has the backup from VFlow on the inside, as it looks like you see a little bit of confidence again surging through CSULB, but VFlow's not going to check up top, and it's going to be Maze sitting back, putting now Prism Hunter in a 1v3 situation. Will be able to find Law dropping this bomb, so he's going to make it a 1v2. Zip in the back with a sniper, not the gun to be favored with when it's an MP40 against you, but you got a Maze on the pinch, and it's going to be a rock and a hard place where you're stuck between leading the Ducks to a 6-2 victory inside the Search and Destroy to bounce back.
Prison Hunter gave up a fight there at the very end. Definitely had an opportunity to close that round out, to walk away with at least another round victory there for themselves. Really, really good shots on the Zip with the sniper. Wasn't able to close it out, and as soon as that happens, the trade just comes through instantly. But yeah, that map, it really felt, Colin, like it was the battle for University and the battle for map control. And as soon as you got it, you were winning a lot of those rounds out. And Oregon just did a much better job, honestly. I don't know how many times it was, but throughout a lot of that map, it just felt like constantly we were saying, help, and there we go. First blood, Oregon. First blood, Oregon. And if you're getting first blood that many times in your CSULB, it's just so hard to come back from, especially on a map like this.
It's what you and I expect, though, in this matchup. The Sharks, you are not a very strong Search and Destroy team. It has been the bane of your existence throughout your tenure inside this CCL season. And the pattern's just showing to keep going through the LCQ now. Oregon Ducks, they exploit it. They even us up now into the series going into the control, Jesse. And that's a big bounce back, too. The fact that it was a convincing 6-2, this wipes all mistakes away from that hard point in map 1.
I don't want to disagree with you, but I think like yes and no. I think yes, that's great that we're able to get the job done inside of the mode that we absolutely should get the job done if you're Oregon, but also there were some very fundamental mistakes that need to be adjusted inside of that first hard point going in towards the back into these next two maps. If they're not, and CSULB will 100% take full advantage of them again and walk away with those map victories. So I don't think the job is done here yet for Oregon.
No, I'm more so speaking on the map 1 vibes, Jesse. It just kind of wipes away the vibes of the blunder in map number 1. So the Oregon Ducks looking to wake up a little bit going into this map number 2. And you know, Desert Siege, there's not a lot of water on that map, so I wasn't expecting Sharks to do a lot inside of it.
Cheesy.
Ducks, I said they could fly, and they did. We saw a lot of the Zip, but that's going to bring us now to a map number 3, Jesse. We got Gavitu coming up next. It's a swing map mode combo now, the fact that it's a 1-1, folks, and you don't want to miss it. Before that, though, a quick break. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to the show where we see Sharks fight off Ducks, and it is a brilliant one so far as they take the hard point, but they fall short inside the Search and Destroy, and now tied 1-1. We're looking at a Tuscan control up next, and Jesse, this is going to be exciting because the Sharks so far on the respawn, they're looking dangerous.
Is it a Tuscan control? I thought we were going to
Gavitu control. Gavitu. What am I talking? I'm, it's late.
I don't know,
it's late
but you were talking about earlier how Desert Siege, how it's pretty dry, so Sharks not going to be able to survive there. Well, Gavutu, we saw them last week on this exact same map mode combination, and you know what, CSULB, they looked pretty good. The Sharks in the water looked quite infested itself, so we'll have to see if they come out and play a little bit better here inside of this map than what we saw inside of that map number 2. But this very well could end up being the swing map to decide who ends up taking this series. CSULB looked much more dominant inside the hard point. Oregon looking much more dominant inside of the inside of the Search and Destroy. So going into this one, if you're Oregon, I feel like you kind of need to win this map to just guarantee yourself that ability to be able to go to that map number 5.
No, you need to win this one. It's a big one to kind of walk out with because you don't want to allow the Ducks to resurface inside of the respawn, Jesse. You kept on guys punching the back inside that Berlin, and they were doing a great job. But you saw glimpses of a resurgence out of Oregon inside that Berlin hardpoint, and if they can get a full frontal stabilization inside this control, that's going to be a scary sight if you're CSULB. But you mentioned shark-infested water, and every single time I hear that, Jesse, I'm always thinking the Sharks were there first, man. How is it shark-infested water if that's their home?
I don't got those answers for you, Colin. I definitely don't have that. But what I do have answers for you is in terms of control going into this season. Both these teams very, very even in terms of both of their records. 10-5 for Oregon, 9-6 for California State University of Long Beach. So I think we're going to be in for an instant classic here.
I'm excited. We're going to hop on board with Maze right away. Big star inside the search and destroy and the hard point. And looking to lead the way over to the B zone right off the rip. However, you look at CSULB, they collapse into the ring. It's going to leave a Maze now on an island over towards the B zone. He does get there, so he's going to stop the clock at a minute 8. And you can see he's drawing a lot of attention over here. It's going to completely open up that chip, Jesse.
It's actually massive that that Amaze stays alive there in that spot, because it just opens up the opportunity for Oregon to make their way over towards A. If he doesn't stay alive there, Oregon can't make their way over towards A, and they very likely could get put back into a spawn trap. They even find V-Flow sneaking around through the back as well, so not sure if that first tick of progression has fully come through yet, but still a much better job from Oregon to at least not get pinned to the back of the spawn.
Not through yet. It should be soon. As you can see, Amaze looking to get right back on into things. Will shut down V-Flow, and you can see, yeah, that first tick of progression will be cemented, Jesse. A 2-life advantage in for the Ducks, but you can see the Sharks starting to set up for a retake. They just can't get anything going every single time they try. It's Amaze picking them off now on a 4 spree, looking for number 5s presented from V-Flow. And a big streak right now. If you get streaks right away in round 1, that's going to be a big showing out of Amaze.
Especially on offense, that could be absolutely massive. 7-life lead for Oregon as they look to transition from the A zone over towards B. Not sure if they spotted out Prison Hunter up top, but you will find at least a 2-for-1 trade off the start here for Oregon. Just unfortunately, though, that you lose out on 2 of your players, and now that you need to wait for them to come off spot because you just can't hit this zone as just a one-man unit. Although I say that, but Zip's just absolutely ripping everybody off spawn right now.
Well, Maze does drop, so no streaks from him, but now you got Zip on a 5 spree, and as I say, I gotta stop talking.
That's a caster curse and a hass.
I gotta stop talking, man, because every single time it looks like it never amounts to the glide bomb, and now we're gonna see the Ducks back to the drawing board. You got a 9-life advantage going to this B zone, and this is where we're going to have to see picture-perfect control in for the Sharks. They are going to ping off a quick 2-piece right away. Shut down Amaze as well, or soon to shut down Amaze. He's down to 54 HP. You lose out on Law. He is going to surge on forward for at least a kill on the Twonky. And he does hop on this hill as well. Okay, you can't do that. He's going to fall, but, I mean, he is making a lot of noise over there.
Amaze is doing some disgusting things on this map right now. I mean, in this series in general, and the CSULB Sharks down to just 6 lives here inside of this map at the moment. So, realistically, with 39 seconds left, all Oregon needs to do, hop onto the zone, stop the clock for a little bit, and then at the very least, just start pinning these CSULB players off one at a time.
Big kill on a Zip. 5 lives left for the Sharks, 26 seconds. So nobody onto the hill just yet for the Ducks. In comes V-Flow for the contention. Clock stopped at 24 seconds, and no more respawns here for CSULB. So this is going to be a monumental win and a big collapse if Oregon loses out onto this. You do see an opening here. Twonky's going to take down Zip. 3 lives left for the Sharks, 21 seconds to cut down these last remaining players, but it just seems like it is a losing fight right now, Jesse. You lose out on Twonky. It's only V-Flow and Prism Hunter against the rest of the Oregon Ducks. You lose out on V-Flow, Prism Hunter soon to follow, and what a round out of Oregon to open up the control.
I actually like, at the very end of that CSULB kind of just flies at them there, because it only allowed Oregon to get 4 total ticks of progression inside of that round. So even though they win the round out, only 4 ticks of progression, if CSULB come out inside of this round and they win it out, and they get any more ticks, they'll be instantly back inside of the driver's seat. But now comes the hard part, though. You need to win an offensive round now, simply because Oregon just won that offense.
We talk about the fact that, are we going to see the Ducks come out into the respawn swinging, unlike they did in the Berlin hardpoint? And I think the answer, Jesse, is a big yes. You're looking at Maze 12-5. On to the defense now. They shot down the Sharks before they can even get going over towards the B zone. They get that done, but it's going to open up now a chance for CSULB to hop onto the A zone. They collect a tick of progression. They got a couple kills down as well, so a chance to stack this. However, it looks like they're going to prioritize positioning first. As you see, Twonky going up to the power position. He's going to be looking to cut down these rotations or the reinforcements as they come through. You do get one slipping the line. It's going to be Maze on the inside now in a 1v1 against Chris. Twonky's here to help him out, but still a split kill feed in. You do see the Ducks. They shut this down eventually. I'm not sure if you got that second tick.
I don't think it's come through yet, but as soon as they touch, it's very similar to what we saw in the last round. It will go through, and there it is right there. CSULB able to find that second ticket progression. Amaze, the only player really here. Now Tavin's been able to pull up as well, so they can try to pinch back into this, try to stop them from getting this A zone, but I just don't think it's going to happen unless Tavin wins a one-on-one, and he does not. Prison Hunter comes out on top, and that is the A zone finished off for CSULB, and now a 4-life lead, and they just need to try to find a way to transition this over towards A.
He might not be as clean as the Ducks A zone capture, but you get the job done, and you get it with a life lead, so there's something to, come out with from that opening inside this offensive round. But now to collect yourselves, like you say, and see if you can transition over to the B zone with as much success as you look at the setup for the Ducks on the post plant. The post. You see Zip on the outside for the beach, has the crossfire with Law, and they are dealing so much damage to the players up in the ring. As soon as Zip pulls these players into the offense, it's Law to shut them down from afar.
And now it's just Twonky for this player push forward for CSULB, trying to open up some positioning on the map to give his team a chance to come off spawn and now try to break their way into here. But as soon as Oregon comes off spawn, they spawn right back up beside each other, and the reinforcements are here, and they are here in full strength at the moment. You will lose out on 2, but again, as soon as you start picking off these CSULB players, their spawn is just so much further away, and the reinforcements to get there, it just takes so long that you have to wait a few seconds before you can continue to push forward.
But now you got that crossfire from Zip on the outer north side of the mini-map, finally going to be cleaned up, but the damage has been well done, Jesse. It's going to be a 3 down on that, clears out the spawn of the Ducks. It's going to force a long trek out of the Sharks just to get back to this B zone where Amaze is waiting inside the ring, picks off CDC. Chris is going to slow down this offense once more, and you have already shaved off this time, Jesse, to 30 seconds. The Sharks, they need something big. They need a quick 4 down, clean as ever, just to get onto the zone, and that's a strong start. It's going to be 2 down, leaves Taven in a position to force these gunfights. He's going to walk away with 2, closing out on a 3rd. And it's a swift 4 down to lock down this defensive round here for Oregon Ducks. They're looking to put this away and go up 2-0.
It's been an unreal performance so far here from Amaze inside of this map, inside of the series in general, but 18-11 through 2 rounds of control and being able to win an offense itself as well, just massive for this Oregon Ducks team. They've done the hard part. They've taken the first 2 rounds. Now they just need to reap the benefits of what they started off here. Either walk away with another offense here, take this in 3-0 fashion, in a very quick fashion, or just take this one in a round 4 when you get another defense here. But you just can't take your foot off the pedal here. Don't let CSULB back into this one.
Oh, V-Flow is struggling right now, Jesse. 6-15 is a lot of gas out of the tank for CSULB. Going to pick things up, though, in the middle of the map. V-Flow surrounded right now by green arrows, and as soon as he peeks out, it's a quick 3 down. The respawn players here for CSULB, they're going to have to go big on this B zone. As you see, Maze is here, the titan of a player that Oregon has brought into the series. He won't be able to make the magic happen this time on the B zone, but it's enough again to open up that A zone for Oregon to get out of the spawn and see if they can take control of the ship.
It's almost identical to what we saw inside of the last round, where Amaze just stays alive long enough over at the B zone to make CSULB have to double back, make them a little bit more uncomfortable, and not be able to put Oregon into the back of the spawn, into a spawn trap, which would make Oregon extremely uncomfortable in a situation like that. But a much better answer as well, though, from CSULB in this round. Don't get that twisted. They push forward. They stop all the forward progression from Oregon outside of one player in Law, who's setting up on the top of LST ship. But now that he's given away his position, he should be hunted down quite quickly.
Big kill out of Prism Hunter. 19 seconds left for Oregon to get something going on this offense, as they've been completely shut out so far. But it could be Taven to open up the map. Zip to follow up. Quick 3 down will give pressure into the zone for A. The respawns for CSULB slow to get things going, and they're not able to get things going at all, Jesse. It's V-Flow going to drop. Forces player number 5, Prism Hunter, to get aggressive into the boat, but Zip snaps onto him. And working on this 3rd ticket progression, you can see the desperation out of CSULB to just try to get this one under wraps, but it's just not happening whatsoever. The A zone gets secured, and you add another minute to the clock.
And the last time through, they were able to walk away with a 7-life lead after getting the first zone, finishing it off and getting that extra minute added on. This time through, it's only 4 lives, but still a life lead nonetheless. They look to do it with just kills here again inside of this one. And you've got Amaze again in the back line of the CSULB Sharks, and he pops a 2-piece along with Law through middle of the map. This is your opportunity now for Oregon to fly forward.
Forward they do, Jesse. Unfortunately, though, it's not going to pan out the way they thought. Amaze is going to drop in the back, and it's going to force the Ducks now to hold off and wait to get something going through ring. But you look at the minimap, and you can see player number 8, V-Flow's in a position where he can completely shut this down before it starts. He's going to give away his position, and it's going to force these green arrows to turn around, and that allows a whole lot of opportunity for CSULB to just surround them and pick them apart one by one, and that they do. 16 seconds remaining, Jesse, in this round, and Oregon, they haven't been able to get anything going towards B.
There's definitely still an opportunity to be able to hop onto this B zone still. 6 seconds left, you can definitely touch, but not with CTC Chris watching over the beach like that in that fashion. They will touch at the very end, but it just won't be enough. And that CSULB coming out on top inside of that round, and only 3 ticks of progression going the way of Oregon. So, Colin, the opportunity is still very much so here now for CSULB. If you're able to take this offense, and you can take more than 4 ticks of progression inside of this offense, 5 will guarantee you a final defense.
That's what you're going to be looking for right now if you're CSULB. Jesse, though, that first offense from the Sharks, it wasn't that strong right away. It was heroics, basically, in the scrappiness to make sure that you could get that A zone unlock. And as soon as you were looking at B, there's just no opportunity like we saw for Oregon in that past offense. But this time around, you can see V-Flow cutting it right down the middle of the map. It's going to find a second onto Amaze, and this is going to be completely throwing the Ducks into shambles. You can see all those green arrows looking to surge on his position, try to take him out of their spawn, but it's just not working. V-Flow is tearing things up in the backline, and has completely allowed Sharks off the start of this to get a perfect setup towards A.
Yeah, and with V-Flow being that annoying, like you said, just only one player inside of the hill, but still getting a good amount of time here. Second tick of progression surely will come through before anybody on the likes of the Oregon Ducks can get their way in and stop it from finishing off here. Maybe even a third tick of progression, because it just looks like Oregon at the moment is willing to concede. They just want to back up and fully wait for CSULB to have to push into their gunfight.
A-zone gets capped, Jesse.
2 minutes.
And right now the Ducks a lot on their plate. And like you said, they got to stop 2 ticks of progression if they want that defensive round. At the same time, I mean, Sharks, they have to win this, Jesse.
Well, that's the hard part, right? Like, the Sharks need to win this round, but the big thing is, though, is that they only, like, not only along with winning the round, though, they need to find 2 ticks of progression over at B. They don't just have the liberty of being able to just play TDM at this point on of the round.
It doesn't seem like they want to. As you can see, V-Flow back in the position, 5 in a row. Now playing for Streaks. As you see Prism Hunter working his way down the beaches. The unfortunate thing is you can already see the Ducks 1 step ahead of them. Amaze inside the ring is going to be closing off the rotations over towards B. Twonky realizes the pressure that needs to be had, and he will be able to take down Amaze up top ring. But a minute now on the clock. A whole minute has been shaved off for this offense towards B, Jesse. And if you're the Sharks, you're only now getting a taste at a setup towards this B zone.
And even a setup that isn't going to be very comfortable, because you have every Oregon player kind of spread across the map right now, trying to pick these players off as they come through. You will win a few initial gunfights out. You still do have a very big life lead. And now Chris has been able to get onto the zone as well. Unless they get him with nades here, this could be a massive opportunity for CSULB.
Well, it's a big flank coming in from the Sharks, but Taven realizes it. V-Flow gets shut down. Now it's time for the Ducks to surge on forward. A tick gets collected inside the B zone, but here come Oregon to dethrone this team from that B setup, but it's going to be V-Flow to answer back. And there's still the opening to hop back onto this one. The first tick gets collected, Jesse. 2 times the kills right now, or 2 times lives for the Sharks over the Ducks at the moment. You can see another flank's coming in. This time it's going to be V-Flow and Prism Hunter. A split kill feed is going to allow CDC Chris and Twonky to keep collecting this progression towards B. The second tick of progression is going to be collected. Now, Jesse, you can go into TDM mode. 3 lives remaining. This is where we might be seeing the Sharks flip the script inside the series.
Oh no, Oregon is throwing it away right now. CSULB, I mean, you just need to find 2 kills in 35 seconds, and you at least get to go to a final round on a guaranteed defense. And it won't even come through. They'll finish it off with ticks, so for sure, a full 6 ticks of progression come through inside of the round. CSULB take 2 rounds in a row. They take an offense. They get the hard job done. And now they're going to reap the rewards of that with a final defense here, Colin.
The only thing is, Jesse, that I'm a little bit worried about is that we have seen an offensive succession from both teams. So it's not really out of troubled waters just yet for both sides of the field, because you have seen that offensive round win for both the Sharks and the Ducks. So going on to offense, the Ducks, I wouldn't be too worried about it.
The one thing I will say is Amaze has slowed down significantly from that hot start. 29 and 28 now inside of this map. Needs to start to pop off again if they want to win this round out.
Starts off with big first blood. See Taven on top road, looking to shut off the rotations from CSULB on the minimap through the middle at least. And so far keeping the way, allowing Law to set up for the cutoff. It's a quick 4 down. You can see they haven't even dropped a life. It's 5 down for the Sharks. And you still have 30 lives for the Ducks. This is exactly what you needed, Jesse. And collecting this progression into the A zone, if you're CSULB, you got to give this up. There's no way you can afford to give any more lives away.
Yeah, you cannot afford to throw any more lives at that hill, like you said, and now Taven's going to pop up top in the sniper's nest, try to pick any of these players off, and nobody even giving him an inch here inside of this spot. Might be able to spot out Chris if they get a little bit too aggressive through the middle of the map, but this has been a great answer back from CSULB.
One thing is, Jesse, 2 minutes on the clock for Oregon to get this going, and you have a 5 or 4 life advantage for the time being. The only thing is, though, like you said, a good answer back from the Sharks is V-Flow will be able to remove Amaze from top ring, and map control will be collected from CSULB off the back of that. And right now, if you're looking at the setup, V-Flow just needs to stay alive where he is.
The thing, though, with 2 minutes, Colin, and like you were calling out, is that it's just so hard to hold off an offense for 2 straight minutes on this map. It's a lot easier to do on Tuscan than it is on a map like Gavutu, and you saw it earlier on inside of this game. In that last round, CSULB had the same situation where they were able to hold players off for a solid 2 minutes, and they were able to push their way completely forward and be able to win that round out just because there was so much time. And already what was once a 5-life lead for Oregon, now down to even lives here, but they finally have cleared out ring and have an opportunity to push forward.
The Sharks have been doing a fantastic job, Jesse, at closing off that advantage that was gained so early out of Oregon, and now they're looking to take it into their own advantage. Going on forward, big one-on-one here for V-Flow, and he takes down Amaze, continuing to dominate top ring. You get a little bit of a quick pressure over towards B, but Chris takes down Zip on the inside and transitions over to Taven as well. It's a big 2 down out of Chris, and off of that, the Sharks, they stabilize once more. You look at the minimap, Jesse, my eyes are going to be on player number 5. As the trust right now in Prism Hunter to dominate the middle of the map, as this flank could be the means to an end of this round.
It absolutely could be. Oregon, this is your opportunity, though, to fly forward. They've gotten a few kills down. They're able to get onto the B zone. And they've gotten the player out of the flank as well. This is absolutely your opportunity to win this game if you're Oregon.
The stars of a line right now for the Ducks right now to close out this map number 3. Second ticket progression will be imminent, and that's going to be a stack on board for Oregon to close out this map and take the lead into the series. Taven takes care of Twonky on the inside. It's 3 down again. CDC Chris has to go big on the site, but Taven has his number, and Oregon Ducks, they dig deep to take the map number 3 and 5.
Oh, that is way too close for comfort if you're Oregon inside of that round. They get the job done. They take a second offense inside of the game, but it should never have been that close. Not when you win the first 2 rounds of a Gavutu control. You should not be throwing rounds away. And I said after the second round, Colin, I said you cannot take your foot off the gas against the CSULB team, especially in control. One of their better modes on the game. And CSULB battled their way all the way back, but Oregon, they just got the job done at the very end there. And Amaze did start to perform a little bit better again inside of that final round. But it was really just Haven, honestly, in that final round who really popped off for the team.
Yeah, I am going to say it, Jesse. I'm impressed with CSULB. I think they're coming out into the series, although they are down right now, they're coming out with tenacity against Oregon Ducks and the will to move on forward. And you know that the reason being is a playoff spot is on the line between these two teams. And it's a shame that this is going to be the end of the road for one of these two teams because you know, in both sides of the field, they're both impressing me in situations, and I wish we weren't bidding adieu to one of these two, but you know, eventually one of them will have to fall, and I'm actually kind of sad that that's the case.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate, right? But the CSULB team, they've got a lot to live up to. I know we casted them last week, but this team last year, not this exact same team, obviously, a very different roster from the team from last year, but a top 12 placing for the school for CSULB last season inside of the CCL in the playoffs. So you know they want to get back there. They want to try to put up as much of a fight as they possibly can. It's been not the season that they wanted, but definitely an opportunity still for CSULB inside of this series. Yes, you're down 2-1 now. Yes, you would have absolutely loved to have closed that map out, and you were in the driver's seat to do so. It's just unfortunate that you end up falling and you end up losing it out, but you get to go back to a hard point now. And it's a must-win map. It's to keep your season alive, and you dominated Oregon in that first map. Let's not get it twisted.
No, let's not get it twisted whatsoever. I wish we could, or I hope, can we take a look at the maps real quick in the series? Because that map number 1, it threw a wrench in this whole plan between you and I, Jesse. It was not expected for CSULB to come out and take that Berlin hardpoint right away. You and I both thought this was going to be a 3-0 sweep, but that's where I'm impressed by the Sharks. And going into the second hardpoint, realistically, I mean, Bocage, as scrappy as it is, this could be a chance for the Sharks to push it to a map number 5 with how scrappy a Bocage can be. The fact in being is this map does have a little bit of fundamental play to it on the rotations, and I think the Sharks are going to have a lot to say when it does come down to that, because what we saw out of that map 1 is definitely have the chance to push us to a map 5 in this situation. The only thing that scares me is if this does go to a map 5, it's a search and destroy.
Right, and I've kind of got 2 points to rebuttal what you were just saying, because CSULB, as good as that first map was for them, like you said, going to Bocage, I feel like Bocage is like one of those maps, like if it stays very, very scrappy, I think that it will favor Oregon in the scrappiness, just because Oregon, I feel like they just have like that little bit better of kind of like the team camaraderie and those very, very close range gunfights, and in those situations where you're just constantly trading things out. But if it's able to be a very clean Bocage hardpoint, like when you do see teams playing more fundamental, where you're just kind of rotating, setting up, and not getting broken easily, way easier said than done on Bocage. But if you're able to play a game very similar to that, that's where CSULB, I think, will come out more on top. But if this game gets really, really scrappy, that's where I see it kind of favoring Oregon. And then, yeah, like you were saying, if this does go to the SND still, Oregon is very much so in the driver's seat, especially after watching that Desert Siege.
It's not an exciting time for CSULB right now, Jesse. The cards are stacked against you, and you got to step up to the plate in this situation. Playoff spot on the line, CCL spot on the line right now. And the season, if you lose it here, it is going to be done and dusted. And I think a big thing to look out, Jesse, and I love that you bring up that the scrappiness probably should favor Oregon, is that if the Sharks want to win this, I need to see their submachine gun players shut down Amaze and Zip. It's one thing that on Berlin got a little bit out of hand, is the only reason that Oregon Ducks were able to manifest a comeback inside the map was because Amaze and Zip were just doing what they do best and slaying out. So if that gets out of hand on Bocage, the Sharks might be dropping out a little bit earlier.
Yeah, Amaze has been really, really good in this series. I mean, outside of maybe those rounds 3 and 4 inside of that control where it kind of fell off a little bit, was double positive through the first 2 rounds, though. So definitely not completely his fault. You can definitely fall into a trap inside of that map, but you can fall into a very similar trap as well inside of a map like this, where you are just constantly in the blender, coming off spawn, getting dropped down. So, I mean, if they can find a way to answer Amaze and Zip, like you said, will be a good opportunity to be able to close this map out against a team like Oregon, but a very clean break off, though, for Oregon off the rip.
Let's hop into the cage, Jesse. Clean break off for Oregon. Still hasn't flipped the spawns in the back. It's looking to be taken care of by Zip. However, a split kill feed, and you can see that CSULB off that break, maintaining that left side of the minimap for their spawn. So Oregon, if they want to be able to have a little bit of a better start, you're looking at Tavin here to flip it out.
The spawns have definitely flipped here as well. So this is I mean, as much as you haven't found a ton of time on this first hill for Oregon, this is a great start to the map for Oregon, just because you're able to flip those spawns out and have the spawns that you want here for P2. Now, that being said, if you get broken really early on here for this P2 hill, and if you let a player slip through like you just did for Chris, now a pinch potential opens up, and CSULB could take full advantage of this.
B-Flow on 2 in a row. Help of Twalky will dethrone a maze from inside that barn. And look at this. I love this play from B-Flow. He knows the position. He's going to go flying, however, read like a book from Law. And that is the opening now for the Ducks to surge forward for a break. Here comes Zip to slide on in. Not good for one, but just two indeed, as he's going to look to the spawns now to clean up the rest. Taven with the help. It's going to be V-Flow down and out for the count, and the break from the Ducks is so good. Only giving up 36 points at the start of this round now, looking to bounce on back. Will be Oregon in this P2. You still have pressure here from the Sharks, although Zip thriving on the inside. CDC Chris in a 1v1 comes out on top, and that's a much-needed break back here for the Sharks.
Zip thriving, to say the least. 9-4 to start the game off. Law also on a forward spree now at 6-4, but still losing the game at the moment. Starting to claw their way back into it, but the respawns right now looking like they should be in favor of CSULB going over towards the new side. Zip, the only player here, but with how he's shooting right now, you might not even need more than that.
Do you need anything else at this point? V-Flow will be able to take him down, so before things get out of hand, it's a big play right now for the Sharks to get back into this hill. You got Oregon fighting from the front of it. Amaze disengages from the fight, and you can see Law gets right back into things, and together, they're going to break this hill from the front. The only thing standing in their way is going to be V-Flow, and V-Flow comes out large and in charge, Jesse. Enough to hold back the Ducks for now and get right back into the hill.
The spawns are still so close for the Ducks, though. I mean, even though they don't have the best spawns in the world, they can still reinforce this quite quickly here, and they do plan on doing so. But they're not even able to get through, like, the main hall of Grandma's house at the moment. It has just been all CSULB here inside of Grandma's, lead back into their favor, continuing to climb higher and higher here. And they're looking to flip the map out now as well on Oregon.
Well, Jesse, when we think back to that Berlin hardpoint in map number 1, who was it who stepped up to the plate for CSULB? CDC Chris on the AR. This time on Bokaj, they're running the triple SMG, and they put him on the SMG spot. And he's 11-7, so he's going toe-to-toe with Zip right now. And when I thought that we would see somebody on the submachine gun side of Sharks step up to the plate, I did not think it was going to be Chris.
No, but he's their best player. He has been all season long, and just kind of showing his versatility here inside of the map. 11-8 now, really starting to pull things together for CSULB, and they're holding this from the inside of the hill. They do get finally control of the full back spawn as well. And now Oregon, once again, with unfavored spawns, needs to try to push their way across the map and get a break inside of another hill.
Prism Hunter goes one to the second one, clean as ever. The break comes through from the Ducks. It's a clean 4 down, but look at the lead that the Sharks have accumulated, Jesse, and they're okay with that. They're going to get the better respawns now over to P5. You see the race is there, but V-Flow catches Law on the rotation, and now a chance for the Sharks to set up early.
Absolutely. This is a really good opportunity, but you do have Zip lurking through the tunnel at the moment, just trying to make sure they can catch the right timing in this spot so they can fly out, find the player inside the hill. They absolutely do, along with his teammate in Amaze up top, getting the control of the top side of the bridge as well. So try to fly out. They can't find a few kills. It's not looking great here for Oregon. The spawn still in control of CSULB.
Zip finds that kill on the slide. He goes 5 in a row before going down. Still not able to collect those streaks, Jesse, but the break here from Oregon has been enough to shave this lead down for the Sharks. Now down 75 to about 90 in favor of CSULB. But with 27 seconds, this lead can be flipped on out here. Zip's gonna exit the hill, goes up top, spots out Prism Hunter. It's gonna be Chris for the help, and that's big help for Prism Hunter to lock down that site. And it's much needed there for CSULB, because if they didn't break that, Jesse, they would be losing out on the lead that they've had.
Yeah, it would pretty much be a tie game at the end of the first set of rotations. Instead, should have around a 25 to 30 point lead here for CSULB. You will absolutely take that at the end of the first set of rotations against Oregon. But honestly, Colin, I think it could be a little bit bigger. They've done a much better job than Oregon through this first set of rotations of rotating and setting up at hills and really kind of taking full advantage of a lot of mistakes from the Oregon Ducks. But Oregon, I mean, showing a lot of resilience right now, not going down without a fight.
B-Flow on 2 in a row. Going to slide onto the hill. Spawns out low up top. The shots are going to be there. Lands a few, but not going to be finishing it up. Leads it up to CDC Chris to clean things up. I'm surging on forward. Into Grandma's pistol out. He is cheeky right now on the map. V-Flow is having one. 17-16. Not too positive, but he is getting the job done on the pressure side of things. On the inside of the hill, it is all white. 4 go down for CSULB's favor. And they are going to be in the side of the rotation as well to P2.
40-point lead. Could be 50 at the end of the hill. If Oregon doesn't get Prison Hunter out, they will find him. But, I mean, this lead is in very, very good opportunity right now to go bigger and bigger with the spawn still in favor of CSULB. Oregon fighting from the front. Taven will get the player outside of the hill at the very least, but spawns, they're still so in control right now of CSULB.
Big kills coming out from Oregon. Taven on an island. Won't be able to work his way out. It's going to be clean 4 down with the objection of 1. Look how far Oregon are spawning, Jesse. And while this is happening, while Oregon are getting back to this hill, it's so much time in favor of the Sharks. Finally, Amaze is going to get a chance for the break. He's going to slide on in for 1, but you're really looking at your teammates to follow up, and the follow-up just hasn't been there so far for Oregon on this second hill. You still got 22 seconds to fight for, and CDC Chris is picking you apart from the back line. Right now, if you're Oregon, Jesse, you need to set up for next, and it needs to be a flawless hill.
And Chris has been able to sneak the line as well. Oh, it doesn't shoot the player. This is such a brilliant play from CTC
smart.
Chris. Flips the spawns out completely. It's a flawless rotation from P3 over to P4 for the Oregon Ducks. Or sorry, for CSULB. And it's all in the back of a brilliant play from CTC Chris and some great trigger discipline.
Well, Jesse, I said the difference between Ducks and Sharks is that the Ducks have wings and they are flying. But right now, it looks like Sharks have grown wings of their own. And this is looking like Sharknado inside Bokash as we're looking at the Grandma's Hill. Taven's going to find 2 to open this one up for Oregon for a break from the front. And Amaze is going to close it out with 2 of his own. So you still got the CSULB spawning in the back. The thing is, though, Oregon, with every single second denied in this hill, it's going to be successful on their part if they can pin out the Sharks in the back line.
Might just be a little too late, though, for Oregon, honestly. It is very, very hard to come back from a lead this substantial on a map like Bocage where things can just stay so scrappy, because realistically, as long as CSULB keep things scrappy, they keep pulling off a little bit of chunk of time here, a little chunk of time there, and they don't ever allow a full 60 to come through for Oregon. This game should be wraps at the moment for CSULB, just doing a much, much better job than Oregon in the hard points to be able to close a lot of these maps out. And once again, on the flip, not able to make the push. So Oregon, this is a good first hold.
Well, Jesse, I might be pulling out strings here, but since it's been so clean for CSULB throughout this hard point, you still got 2 minutes and 16 seconds on that clock. So there's plenty of time for Oregon to really bring this back if they make it clean of their own. The only fact is that they haven't been able to get an answer for Chris, who's 30 and 18 on the map, and you get an instant break for CSULB into this barn hill. Chris is around the outside picking apart the rotations, but the problem is on the inside, it has been nothing but the Ducks. He hops in for the contention, looking to burn that time clock, but a clean break once more from Oregon.
It's actually crazy because you bring up how Chris is 31 and 19, but nobody else really on the team outside, or nobody else on the team positive at all right now. It is the CTC Chris show right now for CSULB, and they are playing on the back of him. Everybody on Oregon is sitting at positive outside of a maze, and they are losing this map right now. If that doesn't show you just the fundamentals for CSULB are just better and more there right now, I don't know what does.
If that doesn't say Bocage, I don't know what does, Jesse. As you're looking at Zip to lock the rotations down, you got Law 4 in a row on the back line. This 4 in a row could align to Shrieks. With only 3 more kills, the only thing is V-Flow is going to cut them down. Caster Curse once more when it does come down to that glide bomb, but on the inside, it's V-Flow, and he's on one right now, looking for 4 swats of the pistol. Not going to be able to get the job done. It's a break back in for Oregon, but for how long? Because keeping away the Sharks has been a trouble throughout this Bocage, and you can see they're right back into things.
Chris is a menace. An absolute menace. Still alive in the back line. Still trying to pick these players of Oregon off spawn. Will end up falling, but it opens just enough of an opportunity once again for CSULB to push forward, get inside the hill, and now get into a great position to pick these Oregon players off spawn. 2:31 and counting. They can get the final 10. They'll be able to get a good chunk of time to get closer and closer to finishing this game out, but Oregon will get the final break, the final few seconds, but the damage is done. CSULB is 16 seconds away from forcing a game 5.
Walking into the hill. This needs to be perfect from the Ducks, but a loss here for the Sharks would be a blunder and a half. As you can see, they are pinning apart. V-Flow looks like he's on a mission in the back line. Only good for 1, but he's going to pave the way for the rest of the team to surge on forward. Chris up top. Can you be the menace that you've been so far? But he's a distraction for the moment. He's going to allow Prism Hunter from the side pick away at Zips. Allow now for the Sharks to get into position for a break, and it's just not going to break the way that they thought they would. Law's going to come out with the help of Zip with a 4 down in their favor. But you look at the spawns of the Sharks, Jesse, they're spawning up on the bottom of the mini-map, so hitting this P1 hill, it is no hard job right now for CSULB.
It's definitely not. Oregon, they're trying to fly forward and trying to at least keep CSULB out from winning the map here, and those final few kills coming in from Law should have at the very least done that. But now comes the hard part for Oregon. You need to fly forward, and you need to keep CSULB once again from winning the game here, and you do not have the closer spawns at the moment.
Zips on 40 right now, and they're down like this. This is absolutely crazy map right now that the Sharks should not be winning. You look at Chris is the factor in that one. He's going to find another one, but on the inside is 3 down again in favor of the Ducks, and there's no way it happens, Jesse, right? There's no way that this happens.
I've seen crazier things happen inside of Call of Duty. It will take a monumental effort here, though, from Oregon. Twonky finds 2 as well, breaks the spawns, gets back in, and surely this is it. CSULB will take map number 4, 250 to 189, and closes it out. And we are going to see a Berlin search and destroy.
Sorry, I'm speechless. I don't know how you drop 41 kills for the loss. I don't know how you go all 4 players positive for the loss, Jesse. When you look at the way that everybody on CSULB were negative for the win, except for Chris and VFlow, that was the definition of Bokosh right there. You take a snapshot of this and you paste it in the dictionary right under the word Bokosh, and it explains everything.
Honestly, you're absolutely correct. It does explain everything. It's just Bokosh things, right? It's really, really tough to look at it and be like, Oregon, you played a really bad map because they did completely outslay the other team, but we've seen it multiple times throughout COD's history where you can outslay the other team as much as possible, but if the fundamentals of hardpoint are not there and you are not rotating early enough and winning out on the important gunfights, that's the key thing, the important gunfights. And every important gunfight inside of that game felt like it went CTC Chris's way and CSULB's way. They were able to close the game out. And honestly, like, that is just a really, really bad performance from Oregon. To outslay another team by that much to lose the map is just a very bad performance. They need to look back at this. If they go into later into this into the playoffs and they go into the group stages out of this, they need to figure out what they're doing with their hard point, or they will be out of the playoffs before they can even say playoffs.
Well, Jesse, for the moment, I would just tell them, if I was in a room with them, I'm like, you know, don't look back at that right now. Forget about that map. You got Search and Destroy up next, and you have looked like the better team in Search and Destroy, where Sharks, they have looked like
for sure
the worst team inside of the Search and Destroy. So coming up next is going to be a Game 5 to close out the Bravo stream, guys. We're going to Berlin to close out this series. You don't want to miss it. A quick little break. We'll see you on the flip side. It's time to get the show on the road, Jesse. We got another best of 5 on the night going the distance. Well, CSULB looking to upset Oregon on this Game 5 Search and Destroy, and this would be an upset of the century. I mean, this would be intel alert for Pally Boy to write an article on it if the Sharks walk away with this win over the Ducks. It would be insane if the Ducks lose out in this match.
Yeah, I mean, the Ducks are a team that found themselves inside the top 25 early on in the season. They did fall out later on, of course. But this team is still a very talented team and a team that we expected to see in the 64-team playoffs. So don't get it twisted. If CSULB walk away with the victory here tonight, it will very much so be an upset. I'm right there with you. And Colin, we must have been good boys this year. We're on Santa's nice list because we got 2 best of 5s. And I feel like every single match that we've gotten to cast so far together inside of either LCQ or the playoffs, even earlier today inside of our first group stage match of playoffs, has just been absolute bangers. So I'm just here for the CCL playoffs. I'm ready to go. And I'm completely ready for this map 5. We go to Berlin Search and Destroy. The only saving grace for Oregon right now is their Search and Destroy looked so much better in that Desert Siege than CSULB's did.
Well, Jesse, I don't know about you, but I'm always on the nice list when it comes to Santa's. The
Not me.
person
I'm a
on
menace.
the not nice list right now is CTC Chris. It is his show after that hard point, and going into this Search and Destroy, you're looking at him to keep up that momentum to see if he could put away the series for the Sharks. And by all means, it will not be an easy feat. He definitely will need a little bit of help. And when I'm looking at help to arrive for Chris, you have to be looking at VFlow. He's been so hot and cold throughout this series against Oregon. And if there's anybody to shut down the submachine guns on Oregon Ducks, it has to be VFlow.
It needs to be 100% VFlow. And every time we've seen VFlow popping off in this series so far, it's been in the 2 hard points where they just go on like a random 5 or a random 6 spree through a lot of these games. So I'm right there with you. VFlow needs to be that player here for CSULB on Bacage to be able to find a lot of success, to be able to push forward. It's going to be tough, though. This is a map where I have seen the University of Oregon win multiple times throughout the season. And very often, more than not, Colin Zip is very, very good at this map in finding first bloods, especially through that opening mailroom, and just busting through all the walls, finding a lot of damage, finding a lot of success. So I think he's our player to watch here in this map.
We're going to watch and see if he can get this job done. Off the first offense, you're looking at Oregon taking the bomb quickly over to A. Twaki's the only one here. Laying prone, you'd expect him to, or hope for him to walk away with at least one, but immediately Zip's going to sniff him out, and that's bomb down.
And talked about being a menace before, but Zip is still just absolutely ripping. Finds first blood, gets bombed down, gets out with his life as well, and now pushing forward to just put forward progression on this upper courtyard. Actually ends up sitting down towards the bottom, so Prison Hunter might have an out here to get out, but Zip will check it perfectly at the right time. I thought so. Prison Hunter with a huge win, but it's a 4v2. It's just tough to be able to come out from something like that.
Tippable shots there at Prism Hunter. The only thing is he had no backup after it. Everybody already died on his team, so that's going to be a first round win for Oregon. And yeah, he was one shot, no stimmy in that positioning. But a big round at Oregon, a huge read from Zip to take down Twonky. And in that situation, if you're Twonky, you need to find at least one kill.
Yeah,
in the future.
You definitely do. When you're the solo player over at A, you need to get one before falling, just to give your team a chance to be able to wrap over towards the other side. Prison Hunter's having a very hard time right now, breaking his way through to top warehouse. But with that player going towards top warehouse, it's got to let you know that the bomb is working its way over towards B. VFlow trying to find that opening blood as well. But bomb should go down here, but once again, Zip finds opening blood.
Wonky for the answer back. But on an island, both these players trapped right now. VFlow looking to pave his way forward for this round, but Amaze is going to be here for the cleanup duty. And it's going to leave Prism Hunter alone in a 1v1 now as he takes down Amaze. It's going to be him versus Law. Law's already on the case. He's not going to put this one away. He gives away his positioning. Prism Hunter now knows exactly where Law is. You got 43 seconds to maneuver around this, Jesse. If you're both players, realistically, you got to play this a little bit more fundamentally. Prism Hunter's going to see Law get the shots out. Law's going to drop the nade right onto him. It's an 8 to answer back. This is a tangle between the two, but it's Law, and it's been Law through the round as he's going to close this out to give Oregon a second.
Well, first time I've gotten to say this all night, but Daddy Law comes out on top once again. I mean, it's just a great play by him. He knows he's in the power position, doesn't need to overextend because the bomb was down inside of the site. They needed to push out to try to get that bomb down, and he knew that he had every advantage in that gunfight and just plays it perfectly there for that situation in Oregon. They take a 2-0 lead here inside of the map. Just looking to kind of build off of that more and more here, and maybe possibly some mind games going on already inside of the map. CSULB, because they got dominated at A in the first round, they sent 2 players there, but a very large hit from Oregon, sending a lot of resources going over towards the B site.
Still a 4-on-4 VFlow. Look at Obey, gets aggressive for one early trade from Amaze. Bomb should go down in this position, Jesse, but if you're Sharks, nobody has realized Law's positioning here. And if you get aggressive through that courtyard, Law's at a perfect place to just pick you apart. But if you're quick enough, you could catch this in a 2v3 on-site. Haven does find the exit. So it will be the post-plant setup now for Oregon Ducks to go up 3-0 in the series. Amaze has found his way out. Now you look at all 3 players of Oregon on the better side now for this position. Amaze is going to spot Swanky breaking through the door. It's going to be Law for a second to double down. Now it's TDC Chris all alone in a 1v2, and he just cannot land those shots. And Ducks are going to go up 3-0.
That's a really, really tough spot to be in for CTC Chris in that spot. And It's just a perfect post plant setup from Oregon, plain and simple. As soon as they got that bomb down, they waited and they played patiently to get out with their lives. But as soon as they got out with their lives and got towards that back warehouse setup, you had one player watching to make sure nobody was able to cross in towards the train. And then the other player just needs to sit inside of the back of the warehouse. It was Law, and Law gets the job done exactly where they need to as the main AR for this Oregon roster team. Very, very good shot here for the Oregon Ducks, now up 3-0. Going to look to get aggressive in through mailroom, but that is not where the bomb is going. It's going over towards it.
That's where Law is sitting. Jesse, are you going to see Danny Law step up once more? He's tucked away in the corner, but he's in a very, very strong one-for-one angle. At least going to walk away with the kill onto Twonky, but here comes the answer back. Prism and V-Flow, they find two. Should be bombed down, but look at this. Zip already on the flank, Jesse. And I'm not sure the Sharks have spotted this one out, so Zip's in a position to punish, but Prism Hunter spots him out, leaving Taven now in a 1v3, making a 1v2, making a 1v1. Ooh. Look at his sneak on out and finesse his life, but the bomb goes down, so suddenly the time in favor of CSULB. Taven has already slipped a line. However, Chris, he reads him like a book, and he's going to put one on the board for the Sharks.
And as much as inside Desert Siege that we said that round that the Sharks were able to win there was a must-win round, that was an absolute must-win round for CSULB. You could not go down 4-0. I mean, you know what? I say that, but we also did see a team come back from down 4 rounds inside of our alpha match earlier on today as well, Colin. But nonetheless, the Sharks, they get the job done inside of the round. It's exactly what they needed to do there. Now need to find a way to stop Oregon on offense, because so far Oregon has just had their way on offense. They've gone towards A, it's worked out. They've gone towards B, it's worked out. And now once again, going towards A, and it's just Twonky all alone over at the A zone. And actually not even going to challenge from inside of the A side at the moment. So Zip, realistically, with a wide open bomb site, should look to get this bomb down, but overextends and falls.
It's a tough kill right there for Zip to fall. If you're Oregon, you're trying not to let them know your next move, but Sharks read it. It's more in a 3v3. Twonky around the back, going to get shots on into a maze. Almost lets him slip the line. However, he will get the finish. It's a 1v3. This time, Taven. Trapped in a corner in enemy lines. I'm not sure if they know he's here. Twonky's finally going to get eyes on. Gives away the position, but he gives away his life. Person much is going to pan over, and he will close that out before Taven can get any more. And the Sharks are starting to get some momentum going.
See, Taven tagged up there. I know it's a 1v3, then kind of shaken down into a 1v2, but I just don't know why you fully challenge back there once again like that. You're tagged up, you're injured, and you have 40 seconds to work with. That's a lot of time, and you don't even have the bomb. So, I mean, maybe just wrap away. Try to get the bomb into your hand, try to make a better play out of that, but instead just reach house immediately. Already weak, so it's just an easy gunfight cleanup for CSULB to win that round out and close it out, but you know what? Maybe that's why I'm a caster and I'm on the desk, but we'll just have to see what they can do. CSULB this round through goes over towards the mailroom with the bomb, but you do have a lot of pressure here for Oregon outside of the room.
I've seen the way you shoot, Jesse. I know why you're on the desk.
Oh, yikes.
3v4 right now for the Ducks. Sharks are going to make it. Oh my goodness, Sharks are going to instantly make it a 1v4. I don't know what pep talk was given to them, Jesse, after that 3-0 up for Oregon, but it has been some kind of difference maker. They look like a different team.
Hey, Colin, what did I say after the first 2 rounds on the Kavutu control? You cannot take your foot off the gas against the CSULB team because they will burn you. And CSULB doing a great job coming back. Taven's checking the clock, making sure he's got some time to work with. Well, brother, it's a 1v4. You don't got a lot of time to work with at all here. Just going to cook the nade, take his own life in this situation just to not feed streaks to CSULB, who have now taken 3 straight rounds after there was a very good potential they could have gone down 4-0.
This is something new in the Search and Destroy. And before we go on forward, Jesse, I just want to apologize. That was a stray I threw at you earlier.
No, I love it. Don't worry. It's what we're here for. We got to have some back and forth banter. It keeps the game alive, keeps it fun and fresh while we're in the casting booth having a good time casting with each other. But you know what? You know who needs to look for a win here?
Games, because Cruz is going to tear you up on the line, just like how Zip and V-Flow have been tearing up the map. But Amaze is on the hunt right now. Does V-Flow know? He has no clue whatsoever. And the answer back from Oregon has been tenfold right now. 3v1. Twonky, last alive in the situation, will be able to cross. Not sure if Taven got eyes on. Now you're going to get eyes on as he walks right into enemy lines. And if it wasn't Taven, it was the player on the inside. And that's going to bounce back for the Ducks to go up back in the lead.
Yeah, the Ducks basically just said, hey, you know what? We've lost a few rounds out. Let's just run tenfold at them off the start of this round. Let's go full steam in through those little buildings, and CSU will be completely caught off guard off the start of that round. They lose out on 3 players to just the one on the side of the Oregon Ducks, and from that point on, a 3v1, very tough situation to be able to win in Oregon. Close it out the way that they absolutely needed to there. But CSU will be the last 3 rounds before that were very, very good. And now, once again, with the bomb, looking to head over towards this mail room, trying to get a first blood, and then decide what they want to do with the bomb after. This seems to be the go-to move right now for the CSULB Sharks.
Silence on the map, but heavy aggression from Zip. Not sure if he got caught out. Taven looking to dodge the nades that are thrown to him. So far, so good. You look at the minimap. V-Flow's looking to make a play over towards A. That's going to get a kill onto a Maze, and I'm curious to see if it's going to draw any attention from the rest of the Ducks. It hasn't yet. And V-Flow gets cleaned up, so now you have no lurking pressure from the Sharks anymore towards that A site. It's going to allow these arrows of the Ducks to pivot over towards B, but you're looking at Twonky to get this bomb down, and Zip's here to punish. Out in the open, you need to come away with something. Zip's going to find Chris. Suddenly, Twonky's on an island. He has the overwatch from player number 5, Jesse, but is it good enough to find the round? You got 30 seconds left. That bomb still hasn't gone down. You're still not comfortable if you're Twonky on the inside. Hunter gets tagged up, and Zip now, he knows, oh, he's got a nade for him. And that's going to land right next to him. Taven's going to clean him up, and on the inside, it's going to be Twonky to fall. Oregon Ducks are on match point.
Absolutely. A very good defensive round there from Oregon. They get map control away from CSULB, and they never look back after that point. They basically just completely take control of that B site. They don't allow them to get forward. And every time somebody tried to make an overextension and tried to get forward, Oregon was just in the perfect position with that bomb just completely trapped inside the site and not able to put it down to be able to shut that push down. Taven has really come alive here in these last couple of rounds, back up to 10-4 on a 4 spree, looking to close the game out here is Oregon. And it looks like they want to take this bomb over towards B. Amaze will find opening blood, and that should open up every avenue in the world to get this bomb down at B.
Things are looking dire, Jesse, for CSULB. Chris with a much-needed nade, but an answer back from Taven. He says, you can nade, so can I. And that's going to be the bomb planted at B in a 3v2 for the Sharks to make this comeback. Twonky looking to meet the play in the back, has slipped the lines. The slow peek through. He doesn't spot Taven. Oh, he does. That's going to be a kill now to open things up. Prism Hunter on the inside. Doesn't know Amaze is here, and you're hoping to walk away with the kill. Prism Hunter's going to get around the back. Hops the defuse right away. Amaze is going to be still alive. Prism Hunter has to get this, but it's Amaze in the inside to turn up for 2, and he is not letting go of this one this time. It's a 6-3 win for the Oregon Ducks, and they're punching their ticket to the playoffs.
Oregon, I mean, it's a very, very slim job inside of that game, but the man who has been playing very well the entire series gets it done again, once again, inside of the final map. Amaze finishes 9-6, a pop-off performance, and the series as an overall was Amaze. But man, I mean, you can't help but leave this match as Oregon and still just not feeling great about the match, because you got the job done, you're qualified for playoffs, but that was a really, really shaky performance, especially in the hard points from Oregon.
You got a lot of homework to go over, Jesse, for the playoffs to come, especially considering the group that you're joining. It's not an easy group at all. It is a very hard group. You're going into the West, so you just have to think that you're going into the harder side of things to begin with. And before you get into the playoff bracket, you have to go through the groups, and this is going to mean that the Oregon Ducks are now joining SIUE, Colonel Esports, and New Mexico inside of Group H for the western side of the playoffs. And it's not only the West isn't only kind of the division from hell, but this group, it's seeming like a pretty tough group to get out for if you're the Ducks, and this series against CSULB, it does not help your confidence whatsoever.
It's definitely not going to help the confidence. I think the hard points is going to be a main focus for Oregon to work on over this next week to be able to come out from this and be able to kind of produce a little bit better inside of the playoffs and inside of the group stage next week. But I think the one positive for Oregon going into that group is they've had some very good matches with New Mexico this season. I believe they've played the Colonels as well. So they have experience against those teams. There's definitely an opportunity to be able to come out on top. And whether it's in this league or in other leagues as well, where they have played those matches, you at least have experience against those teams. So Oregon definitely not out of the water yet. I think SIU is a clear shot to come out of that group. And if they don't, that would be a massive upset as well, as what they've been a top 5 team all season long. But man, I mean, if this is the playoffs and this is what we're expecting to see, Colin, we are in for an absolutely insane next couple of weeks.
Jesse, how long has it been since we got a Game 5?
I honestly don't know, and we had back-to-back today.
We had back-to-back Game 5s on our cast tonight. Over in the first match on Alpha and the last match on Bravo. I don't know if it's a gift or a curse. We're going to have to see as the playoffs go on, but I am here for it. I am ready. Inject the CCL playoffs into my veins. I am so ready for this postseason to kick off. The groups are looking amazing, and everything is looking to get spicier as we move on forward. But folks, that's going to be all for the stream on Bravo for the night. I hope you enjoyed the show, as we are going to be here tomorrow, same place, same time, to continue on with the postseason of the CCL, and I hope to see you all there. Have a wonderful night. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.